But I'll tell you this, whoever gets nominated, I'm going to say that that person, be they male or female or non-binary, did something really bad to me. A long time ago. I'm not going to say what it is that they did to me.
Can you remember what they did?
It might have been, see, I don't know yet. It might have been college. It might have been like
high school.
It might have been in the gym. Who knows? But I'm going to tell you, whatever I say is going to be 100% true. It's disgusting. And I would prefer if you guys just respected my privacy when this happens.
So that's Gutfeld. He's a comedian, so he's making a joke. The point of the joke, of course, is that the women who have raised concerns about people like Brett Kavanaugh are obviously lying. And not only should you not trust them, even though he pretends that they didn't make incredibly specific accusations, pretending that I'm just not going to tell you, don't ask. And then, by the way, the guy gets on the Supreme Court, and then we will spend the rest of our lives mocking those women who every time they get to see a SCOTUS decision get reminded that the guy who harassed them, who abused them, who assaulted them is one of the most powerful individuals in the country. That is hilarious to people like Greg Gutfeld and the rest of that laughing pack of jackals on the five.
You know what's sad about that panel? There's 2 women on that panel, and the statistics today are 1 out of every 5 or 6 women are victims of rape. The chances that those women have been victims of a sexual assault or some sort of violence towards them from a man is very, very high and very likely. I'm sure that they're dealing with a lot of harassment in the career that they're in. And they just sat there and laughed.
Yep.
This is how, and they have to, John, because they want to keep that job. They can't argue with this.
That's true, they gotta play ball. Yeah, and your point is obviously right, and it's even more right in that environment.
It makes me sad.
To do well at Fox, we know that they were harassed and they were assaulted, and that no, we're just going to move on from that. It's all fun and games. Women are all liars.
And if they weren't, because I'm not going to make accusations about these women on the five, but if they weren't, they for a fact know someone who was.
This is the irony of letting children like Greta Thunberg take up shelf space in your brain. Think about all the adults that took her opinion over the progress made in fracking or drilling or the necessity of coal in nearly every country. But no. How dare you? Remember that? How dare you? We all sat there. Oh, maybe she'll drop solar panels down into Kiev to save people. It's not going to happen. China and Russia must have been laughing at us when we were allowed to be lectured on world affairs by a 14-year-old. Oil is a world affair. Energy is a world affair. Fuel is a world affair. We got to wake up to that. We also got to get back into the nuclear world. The anti-nuke ideology put us in a hole for many decades. It's probably the greenest fuel that we will ever see. The sooner we get back to nuclear, the sooner we were almost energy independent. Right. Remember the good old days?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to be clear, we were not like based on the nuclear power that we had 3 or 4 decades ago. We were not energy independent as a result of that. I don't even know exactly what he's trying to reference there, Sabrina. But he is very frustrated that we listened to Greta Thunberg and that we allowed her to jujitsu us into some sort of oil-based conflict with Russia, that we have allowed her to dictate our energy policy, and now we have to be involved in these sorts of situations because of her.
That's so funny that he would make that dumb joke about like her dropping solar panels on another country, as if Russia wasn't just saying, the International Space Station, it could,
that's true.
On this country, true. Like, come on.
I'm glad that you remembered that, or that you brought that up, because I don't know if that was what was on his mind. It is, I mean, like he's a full-grown adult, technically. Let's be clear about that. A wealthy, full-grown adult. This is his entire career, is trying to be either funny or insightful. And someday he's gonna be one of those. He decided to attack her and implied that if you think that renewable energy would be a good thing, then, well, why in a time of war, why don't you just drop some solar panels on them? Well, actually, right now, it might not be terrible, because there's the possibility that either through conventional weapons or some sort of hacking, Russia could do significant damage to the energy grid of countries that they're attacking. Having some sort of home-based solar actually might not be that bad of an idea. It's also not what is being proposed. Let's be clear. He also started off that little screed saying, this is this is what comes of allowing her to, he said something like living rent-free in your mind. Let's just remind you, he brought her up. If she is living rent-free in anyone's mind, it's Greg Gutfeld, not those who are unfortunately making the energy policy here in the US. I wasn't planning to talk about Greta today. Maybe when we get to the IPCC report.
Over $17,000 in student loan debt. We have a moral obligation, an economic obligation, a political obligation to cancel student loan debt.
I worked full time Monday through Friday and took weekend classes to get my law degree, and still close to $200,000 in debt.
You know what? Screw you. No one has to pay your damn debt. That's on you. It is not a moral obligation on anybody for the decisions that you make. Hell, it would be a shame if we could get people out of this track and say, look, trade schools, the military, there's ways to gain experience in life so you don't end up in 6-7 figures in debt. And by the way, nobody's paying for it. You're paying for it. That's something I would go to war for. Cancel debt? No. And everybody who paid their debts would be on the military side, on my side.
That's right. I'm with you already.
Yes.
It's so weird that they all agree. That's weird that they all agree. There's no diversity of thought. I thought they were independents. Anyway, that was Greg Gutfeld, an evolution of sorts. The first bit of the video, him responding to the squad pushing for student loan debt cancellation, came from last December. The last part of the video, just last night. He was a little bit more controlled. He wasn't hysterical like he was in December. So credit to Greg Gutfeld for controlling his sometimes uncontrollable emotions. But he's then saying he will go to war over it. That's the thing that would cause him to pick up arms if there was any student loan debt cancellation. And we can respond to that, Adrienne. We're gonna return to, and everyone would be there with me, because we've got some inconvenient facts for Greg Gutfeld there. But this is a weird thing to be so fired up about, the idea that money would flow from the government to like students rather than subsidies to fossil fuel companies, massive subsidies of pharma and all that. Like, this is the time when government spending deserves a violent response.
For him to attack this whole student loan angle, it's spoken like a privileged white male. Get the hell out of here. Not everybody has generational wealth that's been stolen off the backs of others. Some of us actually have to work a lot harder, and we should still have the opportunity to be professionals and have professional degrees. And so for Gutfeld to even utter any kind of critique about the call for removing student loan debt, that is just something that I just find to be repulsive.